Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Lori. I'm treasurer of NJPHIPAC, New Jersey Public Health Innovation PAC. I'm joined with board director and co-founder Melanie Dragone. We couldn't be more excited to be coming live once again from our PAC Chat StreamYard studio to bring you the 2023 primary endorsement of Michelle Burwell in District 19. If this is your first time tuning into the PAC Chat, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Since we're discussing endorsements today, I just want to make one note for our viewers that the NJ5PAC endorsement process was developed with a set of standards and integrity. Every endorsement we make requires at minimum that the candidate complete and submit the NJ5PAC survey and participate in an in-depth interview with the board of directors. Other factors and considerations are prior voting records of the candidates if they have any, their public positions or statements on matters that affect our mission, and more. Ultimately, the NJ5PAC standards are to endorse candidates on both sides of the aisle with transparency, integrity, and measurement without bias, so that when you see the NJ5PAC Gold Seal endorsement, the voter can be confident that this is the best candidate for our collective mission to protect and preserve health freedom. I'll pass to Melanie to review a brief history of District 19 and the incumbent senator who Michelle's challenging.
Thanks so much, Lori. Good evening, everyone. I want to do a brief overview of District 19 and talk a little bit about Michelle Burwell's opponent, the incumbent, Senator Joseph Vitale. Senator Vitale has been in the Senate seat in District 19 for 25 years. He is also the chair of the Senate Health Committee, where bills that support health freedom will never be heard, and bills that infringe on health freedoms here in New Jersey are advanced. Michelle Burwell is challenging Joe in the primary in just 2 weeks. They are both Democrats, and this district is historically a Democratic district. And this is our chance in the primary to knock Joe out of that seat and out of the general election, so Michelle would then challenge the Republican candidate. So let's talk a little bit about why we would want Senator Vitale out of that seat in District 19. We're going to go way back to 2019. And what we're showing you here is that Joe Vitale is the primary sponsor of S2173. And S2173 was the bill that attempted to remove the religious exemption in New Jersey. In December of 2019, he, the chair of the Health Committee, changed the configuration of the Health Committee, removing the no votes to ensure that his bill would pass the committee and advance to the Senate floor. So now what we're looking at is December 2019, where he worked alongside of Senator Sweeney at the time to bully members of the Senate, and because they realized that they didn't have the votes to pass the removal of the religious exemption in the Senate. So they were going back and forth, talking with one another, trying to strategize and figure out who they could bully hard enough to switch their vote to vote yes, because basically they will not bring a bill up unless they know they have the votes. So what you're seeing here is a photo from December of 2019 with Senator Vitale conferring with former Senator Sweeney. Next, we're going to show you the thousands of parents who showed up in Trenton in December and January of 2020 to oppose the bill, his bill, to remove the religious exemption. Those parents, their voices were heard. The senators who sided with the parents and refused to vote yes to remove the religious exemption, they stood their ground, regardless of the penalties that they incurred, regardless of the shunning and the bullying that they experienced. They refused to change their vote. and Senator Vitale's bill to kick thousands of New Jersey students out of school, that bill died in January of 2020. So in January of 2020, after that bill died, here's a quote from Senator Vitale. He said, he's still happy to have this conversation with his colleagues. It's just about getting enough votes to pass it, he told the New Jersey Globe. So we were a little short last time. And I know we eventually will pass this bill. It's a matter of when, not if. Is it really appropriate for a legislator to express confidence in the eventual passage of a bill that didn't succeed previously? You know, this type of statement really disregards the democratic process and really undermines the importance of the open dialogue with constituents and the will of the people, because we spoke in January of 2020. So now we're going to fast forward to January of 2021. This was in the midst of COVID. In December of 2019, the COVID vaccine was released as emergency use authorization. Just weeks before, I'm going to show you. So on News 12, requiring this vaccination. Let's watch the video now.
What's the traction been like for you?
The timeline is when it is that science developed one for children, and they're still going through their trials now. And the vaccines that are available are mostly for adults 18 or sometimes 16 or 17 and older,
So
not yet for children.
You would do this as soon as it's available, as soon as it's ready for children under the age of 16. You want to get everybody inoculated, essentially.
We would like to, yes. Yep.
And what's the support been like for you?
Well, there's support of legislature for it. You know, my colleagues who get this understand it. You know, the scientists and the doctors who don't have a horse in the race, don't have a stake in this, don't have any monetary benefit. You know, they get that this works. And look, it's not going to happen unless there is a safe and effective vaccine. And once there is, and that can be proven through trials, then we should go forward with that vaccine.
Senator Vitale, thank you so much for chatting with us today. We really appreciate it and taking the time.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for asking.
So there you have it.
The green.
He was looking for the green light for a mandate. So mind you, again, that was January of 2021. The vaccine just came out, and they were already talking on our New Jersey news about creating a mandate. So what we're showing you here is just last week, Senator Vitale introduced as the primary sponsor this bill. It's titled Permits Minors 13 years of age and older to consent to behavioral health care services. So this would allow a minor to receive mental health services unbeknownst to their parents. And after examining the bill and looking a little bit closer at the bill, what we're showing you next is the verbiage of the bill that states this: the consent to the provision of medical or surgical care or services or a forensic sexual assault examination by a hospital or public clinic, or consent to the performance of medical or surgical care or services for or a forensic sexual assault examination by a healthcare professional. So the title doesn't clearly reflect the bill's content, and it seems super broad when it literally says the consent to the provision of medical or surgical care. What does that mean exactly for a 13-year-old to consent to without their parents' informed consent? It's definitely pretty fishy. Next, we're going to show you a bill that Vitale is also the primary sponsor of. And this bill seeks to track the medical status of New Jersey adults. So this would allow for any vaccination that you would be given as an adult in the state of New Jersey to be automatically enrolled onto a vaccine registry. The next bill we're going to show you is Vitale is also the sponsor, and this seeks to require staff, students, and others present, very broad again, at institutions of higher education to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. So this too is not very clear as to who this would be mandated for, but it definitely would be a mandate for college students in the state of New Jersey. So I think it's clear that this senator leads the way in the New Jersey Senate in violating health freedoms of New Jersey residents. And it seems as if with some of these bills that we've just talked about tonight, that he has a clear agenda to infringe upon the rights of New Jersey parents. For the past few years, Vitale has run uncontested in his primary election. But this year, he's being challenged by a primary in the primate, Michelle Burwell. And we at NJPHIPAC did our due diligence and vetted Michelle to assess her stance specifically on health freedom, because that's our focus. Michelle is on tonight, so you can get to know her plan for District 19, and how her perspective and her support of health freedom as well as parental rights is very, very different than what we have been experiencing with Senator Vitale. So without further ado, I now have the pleasure of introducing candidate Michelle Burwell. Michelle, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, I just want to tell everyone that these are the towns in District 19. So you're aware of if you're in that district or if you have friends or family, you definitely want to talk to them about Michelle. So they are Middlesex County municipalities of Carteret, Perth Amboy, Sayreville, South Amboy, and Woodbridge Township. So first of all, on behalf of the PAC board, we want to extend our congratulations for this endorsement and thank you for outwardly standing on these issues. We are so happy to have you here tonight. Thanks so much, Michelle.
Thank you. I appreciate this opportunity. I am honored and excited to fight. I like to fight.
We're excited to introduce you to the NJ5PAC community. So let's jump right in. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself personally, your profession outside of politics, your experience, and maybe how health freedom has affected your life and how parental rights you've been advocating for?
Yep. So again, I am honored to be here. I want to start by saying I am not a politician. I am a wife. I am a mother of two children, 13-year-old Harrison and 11-year-old Autumn. I am a lifelong resident of New Jersey. I am a first-generation college graduate, and I've acquired 2 masters while being both a parent, a full-time parent, and a full-time wife. And I have been advocating. It's interesting because I worked for the Division of Child Protection and Permanency for 20 years. Hence, he's been a legislator for 25 years. So I've worked very closely with a lot of the parents who have been directly impacted by some of said legislation. I am very, again, I'm a parent. So I know what it means to, or I've seen the effects of parents being disempowered and what that does to both a parent and a child. And so I am a strong advocate for the power and the consent of a parent, because I understand that if a parent is disempowered, it affects us in great ways, not only just the child, but the family as well as the community. And so I'm excited. And I am 110% on board. I'm excited that I'm going to have some women and parents with me to fight this fight, because it is urgent that we fight.
Thank you. And thank you for running. I mean, it's huge. And
It is.
You know, we appreciate it. From our first call with you, it was clear how you understood our issue because you started talking about it before we did.
Yeah, it's urgent. This is urgent. This is, you know, I felt the urgency sitting in the position of advocating for families and parents who don't have knowledge, who are not provided with information, and who are disempowered, right? And who things most times happen without their consent. And so I became very agitated, which is why I'm here, right? Because I know what that feels like. You know, I know what it feels like when I'm walking next to a parent who is being disempowered, right? And we know that no one loves your children like you love your children. No one, right? No one. And that love looks different for everybody, right? It looks different, but no one loves a child like a parent. No one knows a child like a parent, you know, and I watch when that is not the priority, how that affects a community, a family, and more importantly, a child, right? And those types of impacts exceed beyond our lifetime, right? I mean, it happens now, but then it affects your child, and then it affects your children, your grandchildren, and we have an obligation to fight. That's our obligation. And so I got up and I say, you know what? I have enough experience, and I've cried with so many parents fighting a system that just does not understand. I really just don't get it. But the pain of it caused me to say, I'm going to resign from my job. And I'm trying not to be emotional because I get emotional because I lived it through others, right? And so I know what it feels like. And again, I am grateful for this opportunity.
So your opponent, who's been in the Senate for 25 years, has sponsored many controversial bills that attempt to intrude on parental medical decisions, including the removal of the religious exemption, a COVID vaccine mandate for New Jersey college students and staffers, and his latest bill that would allow for the 13-year-olds to consent to medical and behavioral services without the consent of their parents, including if the parents shouldn't even know that their children were sexually assaulted. If you've worked with families most of your career, how do you think these types of bills would impact the children and the families?
Well, first of all, I just don't even understand how family is not an important thing. It is everything, right? And if a parent must be involved in every aspect of their children. There is no way that you can do anything that's in the best interest of a child without a parent. This would, again, as I stated, not only will this impact a family, but when a child, specifically sexually assault, right? If a child has been sexually assaulted, you know, even that trauma is unimaginable. At that time, that child needs to have as much input. You as a therapist or a clinician, there is no way you can have a good or successful outcome without incorporating a parent. It's actually very scary. Again, another reason why it is time and urgent for us to fight. This is not something that we can allow to be a political agenda, right? This is serious, and we need to move with the urgency that is needed. I am, again, grateful that you guys are coming alongside of me as I come alongside of you, but I would like to communicate the urgency to everyone who is listening. I am not in this for anything other than to fight for what I know to be in the best interest, not only because I am a parent, and I know that no one's going to tell me what to do with my child. No one. Okay. So not only because I am a parent, right, but because I've also walked with other parents throughout the state of New Jersey in both Essex and Middlesex County. And I know what that feels like when you are defeated, when you are disempowered, when you're not provided the knowledge that you need to make a decision, when someone, not even someone, a system makes a decision for your child without your input. I've watched how it affects children. I watch how it affects families, and the outcomes are not good outcomes. There is nothing good that can come from this bill. Absolutely nothing.
Thank you. And I mean, it's great to see it from your perspective too, because I've never had to see the side of that. We have friends that work in social work. And from your perspective, you're seeing it how we're seeing it. So it's good that, you're affirming what we think, how we think it really would work. So now, what are your priorities? Why are you running? Tell us about your campaign.
I am running because I sat at a place for 20 years and I felt like I was participating in the disempowerment and the destruction of family. That's how I felt. Everybody doesn't feel the same thing, but that's how I felt. I came home many a nights crying and I said, I can't do this anymore, right? Because I also feel like that, as you stated, I was in a position where I was able to see the impact from a different perspective. One that most people will, unless you experience yourself, you would not be able to, even if you could imagine it, I had the opportunity to feel it. So it's as if I lived it already. So I know what it would be like to have someone disempower you or do something to your child without your consent. I know what that feels like without it directly happening to my child, because I walked with families who it happened to, right? And so I couldn't take it anymore. So my first priority is to empower, right? To understand that as a leader, it is my job to be transparent, accountable, speak to people like us, right? Come alongside of people, hear the voices, because nobody listens to the voices, right? Nobody's listening. That is what it's about. That's where you find solutions, right? And so I'm running because of that, because it's time to change the direction of government. They are reaching a point where they need to be backed up. And the only way you can back them up is by empowering parents with information, right? Coming alongside of them. Once you have those conversations, bringing them with you to the State House and having them fight, and we fight together, right? That's the only way we can change this direction. So I am in it because I am ready to change the direction. I am sick and tired, really, of people making decisions for people who they don't hear, they don't talk to, they don't take any input. You're not an expert in everything, okay? You're not. And as a parent, when a government is starting to fight against the parents, that is scary. That's scary, right? That is very scary. When you have a government that is fighting a family, again, it's not just important, it's everything. When you start to break that down, you are going to destroy the community. You are going to destroy a child, right? It will perpetuate so many other things. So that is why I'm running, because I had the privilege of walking and fighting with people who I was not able to really help. But I am able to take their experiences and not only understand the importance of hearing, listening, and fighting, right? And so that's why I'm running. That's the only reason why I'm running. Again, I am not political. I don't have any political connections. I am just a mom and a wife and a person who has fought their entire life to be where they are, right? That's all I am. I have no political agenda. That's it. I am looking to empower and put the government in its place and assure that the people understand the power that they have in their vote, in their voice. That's all I want. That is it, right? Because we need to change this. It is our obligation to do this for our children. This is a part of your legacy. It is not just about leaving houses and cars, because if you're not voting and you're not setting a platform for your child to live, an atmosphere, a government where they can live and be happy and fruitful in themselves and whoever they want to be, then you have not done your job as a parent, right? You have not.
Thank you. So you told me that in the beginning. You're like, I'm not a politician.
Not a politician.
And obviously we looked all the things up, and I'm looking at your opponent's elect file, and it's giant, pharmaceuticals, all the things. And then I look at yours and it's one page, and it's nothing, no corporations backing you, no
Nope.
money that you have to, settle, nothing, you have no one you have to pay back. It's amazing doing it yourself. And, hopefully we're able to help you, and hopefully our community can rally around you and really help get out the guy who really tried to kick our kids out of school, trying to kick our kids out of college, ruin the education for children for literally zero reason. Do I think things are going to move? likely no. We have a lot of great people on our legislature right now. That being said, would it be great to get the one bottleneck in the state that's holding up all good health freedom bills and putting in all these bad ones? Yeah, that would feel pretty great. So I want to thank you for running, and thank you for taking that on. Hopefully we're able to help you. I'm going to pass to Melanie.
I love your fire, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing with us, your passion and your experiences. It is so significant, to have someone who understands the importance of maintaining the family and empowering them to make informed decisions. So now we're going to get a little more intimate, up close and personal.
Yes.
And we have a couple of quick fire questions for you.
Yep.
So whatever first comes to mind. Okay.
Yep.
So tell us what your first paid job was.
Burger King.
Oh, okay. Awesome. What is your favorite restaurant right now?
It's a little restaurant in Woodbridge that I like. I don't get to go to it that much, but it's the Mulberry Street restaurant, a little Italian restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I have a follow-up question. What do you get?
Oh, go ahead. Oh, when I'm done.
Oh, what do I get? Oh my God.
I'm a foodie. I need to know.
I like the chicken Marsala. I like that.
All right.
I like that. Then the bread is always good.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah, I know. That's the best part. That stays with you forever.
Do you have any pets, Michelle?
I do. I brought my pet.
Oh, yay.
She's being mean. I adopted her. Here she is. Say hi.
Hi. Oh,
her name is Taylor. I adopted her.
Aww. What is the most interesting destination that you've ever visited?
The best. Well, it's only because it was my honeymoon, St. Lucia. It was interesting because everything was interesting.
Oh, sure. Beautiful place.
Yes.
What is the last TV series that you watched?
Believe it or not, Sex and the City. I didn't even like it when it came out before, but for some reason, that last little thing they had, I binged it for some reason. I didn't know anything about those people. But it was good. I binged it. I literally watched it in one day.
Oh, wow. So tell us what your favorite quote is.
My favorite quote is, I really just bumped into this quote by Thomas Jefferson, and it lines up with everything that I think. So it says, the purpose of government is to enable the people of a nation to live in safety and happiness. Government exists for the interest of the governed, not for the governors. I love that quote. I love that.
That's
quote.
A great one.
I love it. I think that's where we are right now, because people need to be reminded. So that is my favorite quote.
Maybe I would have liked that guy.
I know, me neither. Who knew? That's a good quote. Thomas Jefferson, we still haven't gotten it. This is some good stuff right here. I can have my own personal, but that's a good quote. That's it.
Listen, definitely. The way we're headed, I hope one day someone's quoting you.
I know. I think, and you know what? I think that's going to happen, Lori.
I love it. So lastly, we always like to ask all of our endorsed candidates, what does health freedom mean to you? So
health freedom means to me the freedom to choose what is in the best interest alongside of your family, right? With no intrusion from government, right? That government does not have a place. You are provided with the information you need. You do what works best for you, what complements your body chemistry, right? That's what it means, right? Your freedom to do that, to make those choices. And that's what it means to me. It is your right. It's what you should be able to do without interference with any government, any mandates, any laws.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
But before we let you run,
yep.
Can you please share with us and our audience ways that we can support your campaign and any final words that you have for our audience tonight?
Yes, my one final word is, and I hope that it's the takeaway, is that my heart is really just to empower and move the dial, right? I hope I was able to communicate that. I have no other hidden agenda and/or interests. And I need your help, right? Because at the end of the day, we have to do this as a team. right? And I think that's important that we understand that even when I win, this is not a fight that I can do by myself, right? So I need a team now, and I'll need a team once I'm there. And so with that being said, I would love if you would just go to burwellforsenator.com and connect to volunteer. You know, we're only 2 weeks into it, so we really have to stir the people up. I'd also ask that you, if you can, I would appreciate any donations. Again, you can find that also at burwellforsenator.com. And support me, spread the word, let the people know that I'm a real person, that I don't have any connections, and that I am really looking to come alongside of you to fight the good fight.
Awesome.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.
We'll put that link in the comments.
Yes.
Later on this evening.
Yes.
I want to thank you, Michelle, on behalf of myself and the board of directors at NJPHIPAC. We want to thank you for using your voice with regards to health freedom and parental rights, and congratulate you again on your NJPHIPAC official endorsement in the 2023 primary race. We wish you the best of luck, Michelle, and we hope to have you on again, so you can
thank you so much. And again, I appreciate this opportunity. I really do. Thank you. You ladies have a wonderful night, and thank everybody for tuning in again. www.burwellforsenator.com. Spread the word. We can do this, ladies. One last thing. Nelson Mandela says, it always seems to be impossible. It always appears to be impossible until it's done. Consider it done.
Love it.
Have a good night.
They said that about us too.
Yes. Thanks so much, Michelle.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.